Welcome back to Conversations in Healing. I'm your host, Sally Almond, holistic practitioner, master NLP coach, and founder of Mother Knows Best Therapies here in Lancashire. And today I'm joined by Sofia. She was a client of mine a few years ago. We did some NLP together, some hypnotherapy, and a bit of general coaching. So, Sofia, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So, for anyone who doesn't know, could you share a little bit about yourself? And what life looked like for you before everything changed?
Yeah, so I'm Sofia. I'm 33 now. And when I first started with my therapy with yourself, I was going through such a difficult time in my life. I was going through a separation in my marriage. I'd had a miscarriage at the time, and family relationships and friendships weren't that great at the time as well. And I just really, really struggled. And then whilst I was doing the therapy, I ended up getting severely unwell as well, and getting sick. So I had a lot going on at the time, and yeah, it was definitely just something that I had to kind of go on to in terms of getting myself the help that I need and things like that.
You had what most people would describe as a near-death experience, really, didn't you? So what do you remember, or what were you told about that time?
So I ended up getting, it was 2023, and I ended up getting really, really sick. So I ended up getting chest infections, I'd say from June of 2023 all the way through until November. Each month I'd have a cold or chest infection. Every time I'd go to the doctor, they were like, you just need to keep taking antibiotics, keep taking these steroids, and I was taking them every single month, and I was feeling really, really run down. And it got to a point in November where I got this chest infection, but it was really, really severe, to the point where I had excruciating pain through my back, through my chest, couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. It was just absolutely awful. Went back and forth to the hospital a couple of times, and they said to me, oh, it's just a chest infection. They did all the x-rays and everything, and I kept being sent back home. And I went back again. The same thing happened, and this time they'd given me diazepam, which at the time I was like, why would they give me diazepam for a chest infection?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and I personally think it was because I wasn't sleeping, so I don't know whether it was to help me sleep. And I remember taking it, and I just moved back into my mum's at the time, and I remember saying to her, I feel awful, nothing is working, and I'm still nowhere better than I was a few days ago when I first went. And she was like, well, just he's give you the medication, let it kick in and see kind of how you go from there. And within 24 hours, she'd come to check up on me in the morning, because I was really sick the night before. And at 6 a.m. she came to check up on me, and she said my lips and my hands and feet had turned blue. So they had to call the ambulance up, and the paramedics came, but they couldn't get any pulse, or the blood pressure machine wasn't working. My mum had one at home, that wasn't working. So they had to rush me up to hospital. And when they'd taken me into hospital, that's when they told me that I was having myocarditis, which is heart failure. So the chest infection that I had was a viral infection. And the viral infection is what caused my left ventricle to stop working. So half of my heart would just stop pumping. Which is why my fingers and my feet and everything was turning blue.
Is that quite new information to you then? I feel like you didn't really have the answers before.
Yeah, so for me, that time was completely a blur. So I kind of essentially blacked out. So I couldn't remember anything. So I can't remember specifics when I'm there. I've had people visit me, and I was they were like, oh, we'll visit you on this day. And I was like, really? And the doctor had said to me, this is hearing kind of what they've told me afterwards, is that they'd asked my sister if I'd been under any stress or anything. And my best friend Shabazz was there at the time, and he told her, obviously she's going through a really hard time, she's going through a separation, she had a miscarriage and all this, and I was in a very, very demanding job working for social services as well. So, and I'm that type of person that just takes everything on, I'm Superwoman as well. So I never even gave myself a chance to rest or anything like that. So because of the stress that I was under, my immune system was going down, and because my immune system went down, that's how the viral infection was able to affect my heart. And that's how it became kind of really severe. So 1 minute I was fine, and the next minute I was literally like gone. Like I couldn't physically like communicate. I couldn't open my eyes. I was just like constantly like in and out. And then I spent a night in the ICU, and then they had to rush me over to Manchester to the heart centre at Wythenshawe Hospital. And then, which I don't remember any part of it either for when I got there. And they said to me, this is kind of like a recount of what my family have told me, that they told me that they'd have to take me in for heart surgery, and that I'd signed to give permission that they were going to put me into an induced coma as well, because I ended up having kidney, liver failure, and my lungs collapsed as well at the same time. So I was literally, it was an absolute near-death experience as well. And all this information I found out when I had come out of the hospital, because I'd end up getting a letter from the hospital that they sent to the GP, and they'd explained all that in there, that I'd had like kidney and heart failure and liver failure, and my lungs had collapsed, and that I'd even contracted an infection when I was in the hospital as well that affected my lungs, and that I was at like imminent death, which was really hard to kind of read at that time as well, because I think my family and friends trying to kind of like shelter me from that whilst I was in the hospital, because I was in the hospital that long, from like December all the way till the end of January. It's like 2 months in the hospital. So it was just such a difficult time. But at the time, because I wasn't kind of with it in that sense, like now trying to look back at it, it's just strange, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Like having to like think about it and things like that. Yeah, that's kind of how it kind of started. And it was literally, I got called, and within the space of like 4 or 5 days, I was then put in an induced coma from that. But I'm so grateful that they were able to help me. Because a friend of mine was working at the hospital, and the consultant had said to her, the consultant who was dealing with me had told her, we're going to send her to Wythenshawe Hospital on hopes that they are able to support her, but kind of don't have your hopes up, because essentially she could come back in a body bag, is what they said to her, which was awful. And it was just such a hard time. And I always think to myself, it was a hard time to think about it, but as well, it was a hard time for everyone around me, because I wasn't like fully aware of what was going on. Like I knew what they were saying to me, but the kind of how grand it was at that time, it was hard to like comprehend, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So it was tough. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of how that sickness came about as well.
Yeah. It really was.
Yeah.
Like one came overnight.
Yeah,
so I
literally.
remember you coming to sessions and being quite chesty and having your water with you and stuff, and we just thought like it were a chest infection.
Yeah.
We were going a bit more gentle in sessions, spacing them out a bit more, but you know, then next thing, I mean, I got a call because you had sessions booked in, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
I remember getting a call that you wouldn't be there, or a message that you wouldn't be there. And then
it just spiraled from there, didn't it? It was just like kind of, everything just kind of went downhill. But it's so crazy to think like 1 minute you're fine and next minute you're not. And I think with the doctors kind of like saying, oh, it's just a chest infection, comes a lot to do with age as well. Because I just feel like they just don't take it that seriously when you're young and you're complaining about your chest and stuff, which I did feel that they weren't taking me seriously at the hospital. And my mum had countless arguments with like the doctors and stuff before they finally saw me. So I was grateful that my mum was there to advocate for me, because I know there's so many people out there who haven't had someone to advocate for them, and it's not resulted in something positive for them, which is sad. So I'd always say, like, even if someone is trying to fob you off, you know your body and you know what it feels like. And I knew there was something wrong. I couldn't explain what was wrong with me, but I knew I was in absolute agony and absolute pain. And I'd always say, just if one doctor doesn't listen, just go to someone else. And eventually, I think at that point, I probably like seen 4 doctors by then. And the last thing I remember first ever going into hospital is my mum had, because obviously with the NHS and the way it is now, because they're so overworked, you just then left on a corridor and you're just a number basically, waiting to be seen. And I remember my mum getting so upset and so angry because she was like, your back is all bruised, have you fallen? And I'm like, no, I've not fallen anywhere. And she's like, someone needs to do something. And I couldn't keep my eyes open. I'm like, Mum, I can't keep my eyes open. So she'd gone to speak to these consultants. She was like, someone has to do something. Like, she's turning blue, her back is all blue and everything. Like, someone needs to do something. You can't just leave us here. The next minute, you know, I'm on a stretcher and there's like, all things described like 10, maybe 11 doctors surrounding me at that point. And I can just see Mum's head bobbing in the background. And that's when they realised that they had to take me seriously, because when they went to check to see if they could get any bloods, nothing was coming up. They had to ultrasound me, but no veins and nothing were coming up. And it's because obviously my heart wasn't pumping the blood to the areas that it needed to be. So they literally had to get blood out of my groin to be able to even test it and things like that. And I'm just so grateful for the other doctors that actually took it seriously and actually like helped as well. And I think the most difficult thing about it is because obviously I'd kind of lost circulation to my hands and my feet. I ended up getting like necrosis on my toes and my hands. So they turned black to like here. And so did my toes. Luckily my hands recovered, because when I was in the coma, my mum massaged my hands. And the doctor said that's what helped, but they wouldn't allow us to touch my feet because I was connected to a BiVAD machine, which acts as like your heart, and that's what pumps blood around your body.
Yeah.
So I was essentially on like life support, but they wouldn't let her touch my feet because of all the wires that I had inside of me. So yeah, she wasn't able to massage my feet or anything like that. So I ended up losing the ends of my toes because of it, and that's something that still hasn't healed yet, and I'm still finding difficulty with. And I'd say out of all that, that's kind of been the most life-changing thing of it, because of how active I was before.
Yeah.
In comparison to how active I am now, it's complete night and day as well. So, yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that, Sofia. I feel like such a vulnerable thing.
Yeah.
And there are just lots of bits that stood out there. I think, you know, just where the NHS is at.
Yeah.
And, you know, like you say, you're so lucky that you had your mother to advocate for you.
Yeah.
Some people don't have that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we're in a position with the NHS where people are going to be unnecessarily losing their lives, really. So my heart literally aches as you were like telling that story. I'm just so grateful for you that you're still here and able to tell that story.
Yeah,
I imagine, I mean, I don't know, it's your experience. Sometimes these things give people fear that, you know, we don't know what's around the corner, and sometimes that can make people quite anxious after a traumatic event. But I was going to say, do you feel it's give you more gratitude for your life, or?
Absolutely. I definitely have more of a kind of take life as it is and like you only live once type of situation now. I know it sounds like really cliche to say, oh, you only live once, like do it all kind of thing. No. But that's literally what happened. Like I was fine, then I was not. So now everything that I was worried about before is like absolutely minor and minute to me. Like in the grand scheme of things, like nothing is really that big of an issue. Like our day-to-day things and our day-to-day lives, that everyone just like, everyone just deals about the little things and they blow them up and it'll last for days or months or years, and it's like you're alive, like you're healthy, like the gratitude that I have, number one, for my health is huge. So I really take care of my health now. I'm really health conscious, and like working out makes me feel great. Making sure I'm eating things right, making sure I've got the right vitamins and supplements and everything like that, and just making sure that I don't take things for granted and I live each day as it comes as well, and just to fully enjoy yourself, because you just never know what's going to happen, like literally the following day at all. I'm still slightly anxious about when I get a cold and I get like chest infections now, because my immune system is still quite low. So that it does give me slight anxiety, but not as much as it did right at the beginning. So I think as like the years gone on, I'm starting to feel a little bit better because I'm now realising that, do you know what, I will get a cold, but I'll do everything. I'll put everything in place to make sure that I am healing from it, I'm feeling better from it. Whether it means I'm like forcing myself to have something to eat, even though I've got a cold and I'm not feeling like it, because I do not want to get severely sick and I never want to end up like back in hospital as well. And it's just about making sure, like, I used to work so much. Like for me, work, I was like constantly work. I'd feel guilty for even resting. Like I never knew just how to chill at all.
Yeah.
And for me, sitting down and just like watching a series and doing nothing for the rest of the day, before I'd guilt trip myself and I'm like, oh, you're just being lazy and you're not doing anything productive today, you have to be doing something productive. So I was always on with everything. And then once I got unwell, it kind of forced me just to stop. And because it forced me to stop, I was just like, do you know what? No, I actually can rest and have some time to myself and not feel guilty and feel like I'm not being productive. Because I am being productive for my own mental health. Like I'm being productive for me. And if I just take this time to myself, everything else will kind of like fall into place. Because it's just, I'm hard on myself as well. I'm like really hard on myself. And then I always think to myself, like, you'd never treat like your friend like that. I'm not a practice what you preach kind of person. I'll preach to someone, I'm like, oh my God, take your time and don't stress out. And why are you stressing out? And everything's so fine and simple. But to myself, I'm really harsh with myself. I'm not as kind to myself as I would be to like a friend or like a colleague or like a family member.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I offer all this to other people, but I don't offer it to myself. And that's one big thing that I've learned is like, be your own best friend first. And when they say to you on a plane, like put your own breathing mask on first before you help anyone else, that applies to life as well. Like make sure you're full and you're good and you're seen to, and then think about everything else. Everything else comes secondary to that. And that's what I found so hard doing like my whole life is I've always been a bit of a people pleaser. So being a bit of a people pleaser, you just you completely forget about yourself. It's always, is this person all right? This person good? And you're always thinking, am I doing something right so that person feels better? Rather than saying, actually, no, I don't want to do it, or I'm not feeling up to it. And like owning that and sticking by that and not feeling guilty for saying it. Because I'm the worst person for that. Like I hate saying no. I hate saying I can't do anything. And I'm always trying to figure out a way around stuff and around doing things. But then I'm then left exhausted and like depleted at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Whereas now, if I feel like I'm getting a bit of a cold, I'm like, no, I won't be doing that, and I won't be going here, and I won't be going there. And I actually take time for myself now, like actual time for myself as well. So, yeah.
I'm so glad you do. And do you think that stress and behaving like that had an impact on your health? Do you think it were?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because I was never a person that got sick often either. And around that time, that period of my life, when things weren't going that great and I was super stressed out, that's when my health started declining. And like in hindsight now, I can see it. At the time, you just try and keep busy constantly. And I'd go off sick for a day and I'm like, no, I need to get back into work because I've got things to do. I've got families that depend on me and I've got reports to write and things like that. So I'm always like putting that on the back pedal. I'm like, right, okay, it's a cold, you'll get over it, just get back into work and just keep yourself busy, which is wrong. And I don't recommend anyone to do it because then you end up completely at a point of burnout, which is what I did. I just completely burnt myself out as well. But that had a massive impact on my health. And they do say like stress is like a number one killer of like people and their health and everything. And I feel like I can manage stress well, but when it got to that point, it was way too much for just one person just to manage on their own. It was just too much stress that came all at once. And I think that's what kind of made it even harder, is because I was dealing with like numerous things that we discussed and stuff that just kind of made it difficult, with like having to like go through a separation, having to like deal with the emotions of having like a miscarriage, and having to deal with the emotion of like, right, well, I want to move out of this place because I just want to put myself back into like a happy situation. And like a lot of places like hold memories and things like that you just want to kind of like distance yourself from and stuff. And that really, really, really got to me as well in terms of my health, because I'm such an empathetic person, and it gets to a point where you lose that empathy, and like you just lose that spark of what you had. And I had a lot of friends say to me as well, like, oh, you're not like you used to be before, and you're not the same person. And it's hard to stay the same person and be the same person when you have so much things, to the point where you can no longer like ignore them, and you can no longer like put on a brave face and kind of just like go with it, which I was really good at before. Since I was a kid, I've known how to just like mask my feelings and just like go ahead and get things done. And like I've always been someone who pushes myself to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And it gets to a point where you can't just keep doing that, because you get to that's when you get to the breaking point, which is where I got to at that time.
This is really why I wanted to get you here.
Yeah.
Because I remember that point after the illness where you were lost, weren't you?
Yeah.
And you were, like, your relationships were impacted by it. And you, like you said, you really had lost your sparkle. But seeing you now, and I'm sure everyone watching this will see your beautiful face glowing and looking well, like, it feels like you're getting there now. And just to share the journey of experiencing trauma, really, and what that looks like, it is such a like up and down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But that you're here now.
Yeah.
And you're better, and you found your spark. And I'm sure there are still things that are difficult for you.
Yeah.
But just to give people some hope that if they have experienced trauma, that you know you can get your sparkle back.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming through something so extreme, it's easy for people to see this physical recovery, isn't it? To see the spark returning. But what was going on for you emotionally and mentally?
It was really, really hard, because I think people think, oh, you're out of hospital, you're fine, and everything goes back to normal. When I was in the hospital, even though there was a lot of time that I was there on my own and things like that, I never gave it time to actually sit and think about it, or think about kind of what I've been through or what that felt like. I was just on autopilot, basically. Like I just felt like a robot whilst I was there. And it's when you come home, because when you're in hospital, everyone's visiting you and everyone's coming to see you, and your days are kept busy because you're doing physio and you're doing different things, and you're getting visitors all the time. And then when you come home, all that then kind of like stops essentially. It's not as frequent as you had it for those like 2 months straight. And then that's the time where you start thinking about stuff. And then that's the time where I had to learn how to like do things on my own and maneuver around on my own and things like that. And especially around with the issues with my feet as well. I wasn't able to walk when I came out of hospital. I was in a wheelchair for probably, I'd say, about five months after that. So I had to use a wheelchair, which was really, really hard. And I had to deal with kind of like the aftermath of my feet, because that was something that they had to deal with once I was discharged. And I just felt like the thought that kept going through my head is like, my body is just failing me. Even though I'd gone through all that recovery and the strength it took for me to even get to be able to be discharged, which was great. I mean, they taught me I had to learn how to walk again in hospital as well. And once you've come home and now you have to like do things for yourself, you're going to have to like bathe yourself. You're going to have to, it was really, really hard, and it was really, really difficult. And especially like the most bizarre thing, which I didn't think of whilst I was in the hospital, because like I said, I was like on autopilot, was like you had to get bathed every day. So people would come and bathe you because I wasn't able to physically get up from my bed. You'd have to be hoisted out of bed as well. So like being vulnerable enough to have people like physically bathe you, especially being at the age like being young and having, it's like people have to, like they have to bathe you, they have to change, they have to make sure they have to brush your teeth for you. They have to do everything for you. Like you lose completely everything. And then you come home and then you'll find it difficult just to get into the bath because you physically can't like lift your feet. And my feet were so sensitive, and it's like standing in the shower was difficult because of the ridges in the bath were like really painful on my feet and things like that. And it's stuff like that that makes it like really, really difficult. And I'm always the type of person of like, right, okay, count your blessings kind of thing. And you're alive, you're well, yeah, you have to take all this medication for your heart and stuff, but there's a solution to it kind of thing. Even though I was very much like that at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to have to feel like I have to be grateful. It's really hard. Like I just want to sit and I just want to sit. I don't want to speak to anyone and I just want to be miserable. That's literally the thought that was in my mind. Like, I just want to sit here. I just want to zombie out in front of the telly and just do nothing, because every time I take my medication, it knocked me out to sleep. So I was sleeping most of the time throughout the day. So if I'd got up at like 8, by 11 o'clock I was knocked out, and then that's all my day gone. Not like I physically could get up and do anything, but when you're in that rut of you're just awake and then you're asleep, and then you're awake just to eat or to bathe or whatever, and then you're asleep, really takes a toll on you, especially the person I was, where I was constantly busy, never sat down. I've always had something to do. I always double book, triple book things in because I was always like on the go and doing stuff. To then coming home and then having nothing to do at all was really, really, really hard to deal with as well. And I had friends who were able to come and take me out and things like that. But I didn't want to go out because I was like, well, for them to come and take me out, they have to then take my wheelchair. And for them to take my wheelchair, and for me to sit into the wheelchair, and I don't want to be out seen in a wheelchair. And it was just all that stuff that was really, really hard and really difficult to kind of deal with. And like thinking, oh, now I've got to depend on my mum and my sister to like help me getting in and out the shower, or I couldn't even straighten my hair either at the time. I remember sitting there one evening, I was like, right, I'm going to try and straighten my hair. And it must have taken me about 4 hours just to straighten my hair because I physically couldn't hold my hands up. And I'd do like a section and then my hands would get too tired. And then I'd do another bit and then my hands would get too tired. And my hair, I can do it in literally 20 minutes. And for it to take 4 hours, like literally 4 hours straight to try and like finish your hair was just so hard. It's like, you just get so frustrated with yourself and you're like, why can't I just do like the most simple thing, like straightening your hair? Like that was the most like basic thing for you to do. And I just physically could not do it. And then praying, I'm like, I've just got to pray. And I've just got to like keep myself grounded and things like that. That was really hard as well to do, because you just never have the feeling that you want to do it at the time because you're just so upset. And I remember my friend saying to me like, is everything all right? Like, you just seem like just really angry all the time. And I'm like, well, I'm not angry. And I get really offended. I'm like, I'm not angry. I'm never angry. And they're like, no, you're not like physically outward angry, but I can tell you're just really annoyed. Anything annoys you. And literally the most simple thing would irritate me and annoy me. Like, I wanted to go out to the shops one time and my sister was pushing me in the wheelchair. And I got frustrated because I'm like, you're going too fast and you need to slow down, because it wasn't at the pace that I wanted to go at. Because when I'm in the shops, I take my time. I want to see what they've got. I want to look through the racks and stuff. But when someone else has got control of that and you can't just like physically stop or physically like push yourself, that gets more difficult and more annoying. Like, I just rather just not go out.
I feel like that's a metaphor for this whole thing, isn't it? Just like,
literally.
You've been taken control of, you've lost control, haven't you? And I imagine like in that time, I wonder if it did feel a bit hopeless. Like, you don't know when the end to this is. You don't know what your life looks like on the other side of that. Like, it's so understandable that you felt like that in that time.
Because it was awful as well, because especially, I didn't know when my feet were going to heal. I was being told by the plastic surgeons that they were going to amputate all my feet, my toes off. And I was like, well, I don't know what that even looks like or how I can live like that. And it's like I wasn't able to drive, and I love driving. Like, driving is one thing that if I'm in a rut or if I'm not feeling great, I will go for a drive. Like, driving for me is just so fun. Like, my colleagues used to take the mick out of me for it. They were like, oh my God, do you drive to like London for a coffee? I'm like, yeah, because I like driving. I like going out. I don't like being confined in like one area or like one space. I love exploring. I love being out. I love it being out and about. And like to come home and not be able to do any of that.
Yeah.
And not even, and I used to sit there and used to think, do you know what? I just want to get in my car. I just want to drive towards Pendle. I said, I just want to sit in my car and just gaze at the stars. And that's what I was like, I just want to do that. That's all I want to do. I literally just want to just be sat in my car, just listen to music and just gaze in. And funny thing is, I've not even done it now that I can. It's not like I do it. But at the time when you don't have it, you just want to do everything as well. But also, with that being said, it's also allowed me to be able to be like, do you know what, I'm going to take risks in life. I'm going to do things that I want to do. Things that before I thought, maybe I should do, maybe I shouldn't do. I'm like, do you know what? Just do it. What's the worst that can happen? Just do it. Yeah. Now that I've become that kind of person. And my mum was like, you kind of taking it a bit too far. And I was like, I'm petrified of heights. And I did say to Mum the other day, do you know what I want to do? I want to go skydiving. Yeah. And she was like, skydiving? You can't even look over a balcony. I'm like, yeah, but I just got the thrill of like skydiving. Yeah. That's what I'm like now.
What a gift that it is that it's given you that. Or, you know, like just, a drive to just live life and get out there. And like you say, I think so many of us take things like our health for granted. Just being able to get in our car and drive somewhere and, you know, gaze at the stars, all that kind of stuff. We do take that for granted, don't we? And I think for anyone listening, just me right now in this moment, I'm thinking, gosh, like, we do need to, I know that's hard for some people, but like you say, when you were in that time, it was really hard to practice that gratitude. And I know for some people listening, it might feel like a really hard thing to do. But just the importance of, you know, like what really matters in life. It is so easy to get away from that in this modern life, isn't it?
Absolutely, 100%. Because I used to hate food shopping. That's one thing I never used to like doing. Going to the shops to go and get your weekly shop, I was like, no, I used to hate that. Yeah. Now I enjoy it. I'm like, do you know what? I'm actually going to go to the shop. Like, the fact that I can actually go, I can actually get out and go and not need anyone to push me around, not need anyone to like help me kind of thing. It's great. Yeah, it's difficult on my feet and I get like severe pain in my feet and things like that. But that's something obviously that's a work in progress at the moment. So I hope that kind of gets better. But like, even like going to Pilates, I've started to go to Pilates and stuff like that, which I absolutely love. And that's like, at this very moment in time, it is my happy place. I enjoy going to it. And trying to get physically fit as well and get back into like down to the size that I was, because I wasn't able to move a lot. So I ended up gaining a ridiculous amount of weight. And I was like, and now I'm at the point where I'm like, do you know what, now I can actually go. I found something that I can actually do that doesn't cause me so much pain on my feet as well, that I can continue to do as well. That'll help me reach that goal of kind of losing the weight and stuff like that. Because everything that I used to do, like I used to love running, I can't do that now. And I used to love going to the gym. That's difficult for me now. But there's always a solution for stuff. And I've always been like a pragmatic person, and I love like being solution focused and everything like that. Like one of my friends, she'll always say to me, like, you've always got a solution for everything. I'm just trying to tell you this thing. Like I said, yeah, but everything does have a solution. Like whatever situation anybody's in, whatever anyone's going through, there's always a way out. There's always a solution. There's always something that can be, like nothing is impossible. There's always something. And if something is impossible, then why does it even matter? Kind of thing. And that's where I'm at now. Like, there's always something. And it's also taught me that no matter what anyone has to say, like, no matter what anyone has to say to you, it's always a reflection of them, not a reflection of you. Because that's one thing I did. I used to take everything on as if I'm the issue, I'm the problem. And being unwell and like sitting on the sidelines and just like watching life go by, you just realise like everyone is dealing with their own stuff as well. Like not everyone's going to be, like one friend might not be as emotionally mature as another one, or like you might meet that colleague who's not really that sensitive or whatever, but they're also going through their own issues. So now I kind of just like, now I see people as like, what's really going on there kind of thing. Like I never take it personal anymore. I'm always thinking like, well, that's a you problem. And I'm the first kind of person to say, if there's any issues, I like openly speaking about them. Whereas before, I just kind of like leave it and then just see if it kind of worked itself out kind of thing. Yeah. Whereas now, like my whole personality, like my whole perspective and personality and everything like that has like evolved, and like I've got a lot of growth out of it in terms of the way I deal with situations and I deal with things, which has been good.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad for you that you found your thing, especially with the exercise and stuff.
Yeah.
And just touching on solutions, obviously that's working for you, which is great, but I think some people listening, maybe solutions, yeah, there could be a solution, but that might also feel really hard to break out of what they're in and reach for the solution. And sometimes solutions have repercussions as well. Yeah. So I guess it's just like individual approaches, but I'm so happy for you that you've kind of found your way, your things that are working for you.
Absolutely, because like even with like healing, it's not like linear and straightforward. It's ups and downs. Like as great as my year has been, and as great as things are getting, there's equally things that I still need to work on, things that still bother me, things that I've still not found solutions for. But I'm still like trying to push myself to get to there kind of thing. And still trying to push myself to kind of, like I have days where I'm just like, do you know what? I just don't even feel like doing anything. And I'll catch myself being down for like a week straight, and I'm like, come on now. We need to like just take a little step, whether it's just like I had to have a whole clear out, and I thought to myself, do you know what? Well, I'll just start with one box first. The rest of the 5 boxes haven't been done, but I've done the one box kind of thing. And I'm like, I'll come back to it. And it's just like set yourself like little goals, whether it's like once a week or once a month or whatever it is, just kind of like to get to there.
You started therapy, which we were discussing yesterday, in 2023.
Yeah, 2023.
Which feels absolutely crazy. So going back to that time before you were ill, what made you feel ready to reach out for that kind of support?
Because I was in, I'd say for about maybe like 6 months straight, probably like 6-7 months straight, since having my miscarriage, which was the April of the previous year, up until 2023, up until the beginning of 2023, which I'd probably say is like most of the year, I was just kind of like in survival mode, just like going through stuff, but not really dealing with anything. And then my separation came straight after that, and then I was dealing with that. And then like regular like stresses of everyday to-day life as well. And I was finding myself in like just this rut, and I was like, right, I now need to start doing something about it, because like it's almost going to be a year. Like we're coming into 2023, it's going to be April soon, and it's going to be a year of me like not doing anything and just moaning to myself about it. So I need to actually get out there and actually get some help with it. So I remember speaking to one of my friends, and she'd mentioned the groups that she comes to that you do. And she was like, oh, why don't you come to a group with me? And I was like, oh my God, I'd love to, kind of thing. So we'd arranged and we came to some of the groups that you do. And we did the meditation and everything. It was absolutely brilliant. And then she said to me, she goes, why don't you go and speak to her? And because she was saying to me, she was like, Sally's absolutely brilliant. Like, I've used her as a therapist and she's great. And I felt really nervous at first, because I'm like, because I always feel like, oh, I don't want to be a burden, like just like mourn about my life kind of thing. And she was like, no, trust me, like she's really great. You'll have a great relationship. I'm telling you now. She's like, I'll tell her a bit about you, and then you go and speak to her. So I said, all right. And then that's when I came and I was like, oh, am I able to like book some sessions? And I was really, really nervous to like come to the sessions as well, because I hate being vulnerable in that sense. And like therapy, like you've got no choice but to be vulnerable to get through your therapy. And I thought to myself, right, okay, if I'm going to do this, I need to like do it properly as well. And that's when we started the sessions, and because I came to the groups for quite a few months, and then we started the session, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was just after the summer. I think it was just after the summer, just before the summer.
Yeah.
That because we did I remember doing the summer solstice as well, and I brought some friends along to that. And I was like, right, okay, now I need to start doing the actual work and like actually like dig deep and stuff. And then we started the sessions and the 8-week sessions and stuff. And I absolutely loved it. And like this then became like my happy place. And I'm like, all right, I need to go somewhere that I can offload and somewhere that I can like just talk through my feelings and understand why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, how to overcome certain like situations, where not just kind of the stuff that I was going through at the time, because we spoke about stuff in like my childhood and stuff like that, that I think had an impact into the person that I was at that time as well. And then kind of working through that to then improve and get more growth into kind of where I was going with my life and stuff. I remember having like, I used to look forward to like every week coming and seeing you and doing the work and stuff like that as well, which I absolutely loved. And I really, one thing that I really enjoyed, and I've recommended it to so many people, because I went to see some of my colleagues the other day, and I did say to them, I said, oh my God, one thing you need to try, and we were talking about therapy, and I was like, it's hypnosis. I said, hypnosis is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And one of my colleagues, he said to me, he was like, oh, is it the one with where they make you watch, make you look at the watch? I'm like, no, it's not like that. I said, it's not like what you see in the movies. I said, I'm telling you, it's absolutely brilliant, because that's one thing that helped me kind of heal from like having my miscarriage and stuff like that, because I remember doing that. And then the timelines, like everything, every little thing that we did, and I was telling them all about this, and I was like, we did EDMR, that was brilliant. Sorry, EMDR.
Yeah, well, it's IMT that
IMT,
use,
yeah,
but
that's
yeah,
it, yeah.
it's an adaptation of EMDR. Yeah.
So I was like, that is brilliant. And then she was my old manager, and she was like, I've done it. It's absolutely, it is really good. Like, you guys need to try it. So I've recommended it to like everyone. I'm like, you guys need to go and try this stuff. It's absolutely brilliant. And I said, you're not just there. It's like offloading and just talking about stuff. You're actually getting to the root cause of things and actually like changing you bit, like even the way you think. You change the way you think about things. You change the way you react towards things as well. Definitely, because especially with like trauma, a lot of people think, oh, you come to therapy, you get over it, and that's it. You're basically healed, and that's what a lot of people assume healing is, and that's not what it was. It's like I can still remember the trauma I went through. I just don't respond to it or let it take over my emotions the way it did. So it doesn't nudge my emotions the way it did. So now I can look back at whether it's my miscarriage or like my relationships or whatever that is, and I can look at them and see the positive side of them, and I can see what was not great for me, but I now can separate that from it causing me to feel any type of way, and I can just go about my day. And that is just something that once was, and that was kind of a memory kind of thing. Because like even relationships that I had or friendships that I've previously had that I don't have anymore, there'll always be love for them there. It's not something that you've ever got over, you just learn to live with it kind of thing. And you learn for it not to kind of affect your emotions to the point where it's going to negatively impact your day or the way you are, or even your behaviours as a person. Just because whoever it was had like caused you so much hurt and so much harm, it doesn't mean then you then stop like believing in anybody else or stop trusting anybody else or anything like that. Because obviously everyone's different, and you just take that on, and it's just for me it's a lesson learned and then I can move forward with that and deal with the next things. And if something like that was to come up, then you know how to handle it before it even gets to the stage where it could be a trauma to you, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So it's like, it's never something that you think to yourself, oh, do you know what? Yeah, it's been erased from my memory. That's not what therapy is, and I think a lot of people think that, don't they?
Yeah.
Of like, you're going to go in and it's going to be like Men in Black, and they're just going to like, look into this line, swipe your memory.
Yeah.
And it's a way of like, because even though I've been through the traumas and everything of like my health, about relationships, whatever that may be, it's changed me as a character. It's changed my character, but it's changed my character for the better. So it's given me the growth, and it's improved who I was. And I know, like, I've been told before, like, oh, you act very different, or why are you being brand new? And I'm like, no, like, we all strive to be better than we were yesterday. Yeah. Like, no one wants to be what they were like when they were 21 at like 30. I hope I've changed. I hope I am brand new. I do want to be brand new. I want to be brand new every day. Every day I wake up, I want to be like a different person. Absolutely. Because I've had that said to me, and they said to me in a negative way, and I'm like, well, no, here's Sally's number. Maybe you need to go and have a chat.
That's what's hard about growth, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes people don't come along with us for the journey. That is a common difficulty in growth. But yeah, you're so right. I think the way that you've described like the arm movement therapy and the hypnotherapy, it is exactly that. It's like it helps your brain to process the events. So when we go through something traumatic, we're going to fight or flight, so it's almost like it's still happening in our system. Yeah. So it is impacting our day-to-day life, and it will be showing up in your behaviours. When we do some hypnotherapy or eye movement therapy, it helps you actually process the trauma or any event. I mean, trauma can be anything. Yeah. Sometimes we can be affected. It's come up on the podcast before, like little T trauma and big T trauma. So little T trauma might be something like, a teacher shaming you at school. Big T trauma are the things like miscarriage and, like things that feel really heavy and hard. Yeah. But all those things can impact us in different ways. But when we can process that on a different level, it almost removes the kind of emotional attachment to it. Like you say, it's still there. We're still aware we've had that experience, but it doesn't weigh on us quite as heavy. And it kind of stops impacting our daily life as much. Yeah. Absolutely. There's one thing that you said to me in one of our sessions that I have shared with other people, and I remember them going, oh my God, that's a really good way of thinking about it. That's a really great analogy. So me and my friends live by this, and you said to me, there's a mouse and a lion, and they're both in the same cage, and because the mouse wouldn't eat the lion doesn't mean the lion wouldn't eat the mouse. And that's something that really, really like changed the way I think about things and the way I am towards people as well, and being kind of like a little bit guarded when it comes to like, not because I'm an oversharer and I'm an overgiver and everything, just to be a bit guarded about it. And Shabazz says it all the time as well, and he's like, oh, what was that quote that Sally said? It's about the mouse and the lion. And we've actually been in like events, and he's like gone, by the way, just because the lion wouldn't eat the mouse, just because the mouse wouldn't eat the lion, doesn't mean the lion would eat the mouse. I'm like, and everyone's like, oh God, that's really good. Did you come up with that yourself? I'm like, don't even dare tell me you came up with that because you didn't. It's so funny what sticks with people, Sometimes you just say things and you don't realise what actually really, like, and that really people and carries forward. And that honestly has such a great impact into the way I see people and relationships and everything like that. I got to say that was really great, and we still use it. And Shabazz tries to pass it off as his own. Bless you. So speaking of that, you do co-host a podcast with Shabazz, which is amazing. So how has that creative outlet supported your healing? Oh, that was brilliant, because it was at a time where, like I was saying earlier, where I wasn't doing anything.
and where I couldn't go out, I couldn't do things, and it was the one place that I could go, and it was a fun outlet for me to have, and it was just a nice time where I went, forgot about what I was going through, forgot about like the pain that that my feet were causing me and things like that, and it was just a really nice hour where we got to sit, have fun, have a chat, talk about like stuff in social media and like regular day-to-day things, and just have a laugh and have fun. And it was really, really like healing for me to be able to. That was kind of the highlight of that year of being like discharged from hospital and stuff like that. Something that brought me like absolute pure joy to do, especially when I felt like I was in such a dark place at that time, in terms of like my healing, the way I was feeling and things like that. So we absolutely loved doing it, and hopefully we'll get to do a lot more soon as well.
Let's give it a little plug. What's it called?
Oh, it's called I'm Rich You're Poor, the podcast. And you can get it on Spotify, YouTube, and we put up the short reels on Instagram and TikTok as well.
Not that I need to be plugging you, more like you need to be plugging me. You'll have way more followers than Funny. Anyway, right. So when you look at your life today, what are you proudest of?
I'm really proud of the person that I've become as well. I'm proud of like how I deal with things as well, and my behaviours now, in terms of the way I go about like even just like regular day-to-day conversations, and just my relationships and stuff, and like all my relationships of whether that's friendship, family, they're all a lot more stronger now than how like I'd felt about them before and things like that, which has been great. I don't really hold on to things as much as I used to. I don't give a lot of importance to like the negative things that happen all the time. I try and like, I'll have a moment with myself, I'll decompartmentalize everything. And I'm like, right, okay, is there something I can do about it? Is there any kind of way I could have said anything different or done anything different about it? I'm the first to like put my hands up and say, oh, sorry, like I didn't mean to say what I said, or I didn't mean to do what I did, or whatever it is like that. And I encourage everyone around me to be like that. And I do surround myself with people who are like that, which is great as well. I've got scars from obviously my surgery as well. And that's something I didn't like having, because I've got a really big scar here, and then I've got scars across my belly as well. But now I was watching this other podcast, and they were discussing about kintsugi, which is kintsugi, which is a Japanese art where they put like broken pottery back together. When they put it back together, they fill it in with like gold, and they were discussing like your scars are basically like what kintsugi is. They are part of you, they're part of your journey. They give you more character to who you are, and there's a story behind them of where you are today and why you are where you are and who you've become, kind of thing. So I actually do like my scars now. So they actually don't, I look at them and I'm like, I'm okay. Whereas before I'd always like wrap up or like wear like a turtleneck because I didn't want like anyone seeing them or anything. Whereas now I actually don't mind them at all. Like I'm actually okay with it as well, and it is a part of my journey and a part of my story as well. And even like with my feet, I don't like having my feet out and stuff like that. But then I'm like, well, do you know what? You've been through stuff. It's nothing to kind of be ashamed of, as well. So I feel more comfortable like in front of my friends and family, like having my feet out and stuff like that. And that's made me feel a little bit more confident in myself as well.
What a beautiful way of looking at it. I love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
So
what's it called again?
Kintsugi.
Oh,
yeah. So it's a Japanese art.
Beautiful.
And and when I heard it, I thought, do you know what? It's very, very true. Because like especially when you see people with scars, you always think to yourself, oh, I wonder what they've been through. I wonder what and obviously I've gained like so much strength from being through what I've been through as well. So it's definitely something that I'm like very proud of now, and I don't see him now as something being like really negative as well. And as well, I'm healing now. I've got to go and see my heart surgeon after the new year as well, so they can do more scans to see how I'm getting on and things like that. So things are kind of looking up, which is really, really great and really nice. And yeah, I've just learned to, if things aren't affecting me in a positive way, I've got the thought now of like, okay, it doesn't concern me. I just need to like take a step back or just remove myself from the situation. And I don't feel guilty about resting at all. That's one big thing. I don't feel guilty about resting. I don't feel guilty about saying I can't do something, I'm not able to do something, which is something I've been struggling with my whole life. And I finally, at the grand old age of 33, finally got to that point where I'm just like, no, like, I'm good and I'm confident in saying what I need to say and being firm in what I need to say in a really great, positive way.
That feels like it's taken like so much pressure off yourself, because that's a lot of what we did together, you know, with your work and stuff. It were almost like the pressure on yourself to perform and to look after everybody. It's like it's almost taken a bit of that away for you, which is lovely. I'm so pleased.
It's even allowed me to I'm changing careers at the minute as well, which is definitely an offload in kind of what I previously did before, and kind of moving away from being that person who's just like thinking about everybody else and not myself. I'm like, do you know what? I want to do something now that, don't get me wrong, I absolutely enjoyed what I did. I absolutely loved what I did. But I was like, maybe it's time just to take a different step into a different journey. And I always say to my friends, I always say to them, I feel like I've just been stripped of everything. Like my old life, like everything in my old life is no longer in my life at the moment. So I feel like everything got taken away, because like whether it was because I had a car crash at the time, my old car had gone, my old relationship had gone, I had some old friendship that I got that weren't really positive, they've gone. And even like moving out of my home, that I felt like I was just like shed of everything. And the moment that I woke up, like from my coma, my mum always says to me, like, you woke up like you're a brand new person, you do know that like you were like reborn kind of thing. And that's kind of like how my mum and my aunt will always say to me, like, you do know like you're reborn, like you're practically like 2 now. Like that. And they'll have a joke with me and I'm like, well, yeah, actually I am. I feel like I've got a new life in that sense. Completely. It just literally feels like a complete different life to what I have now as well.
Okay, so for anyone listening who's going through trauma or feels like they're trying to rebuild after trauma, what message would you like to give them?
I would like to say to everyone, like, be kind to yourself first and foremost. Always have your own back as if you have your best friend's back. Like, we all have our best friends back. We'd do anything for our best friends, but be that for yourself first and foremost. I'd say always make sure that you look after number one, definitely. Do what you need to do to go out there and get the help, I'd say, absolutely. Don't ever do it alone. You never have to do it alone. I don't think you have to ever do it alone, because there's always like solutions and people out there who will support you with that. I was very lucky enough to be recommended Sally, and honestly, like, you've literally helped me so much through like my journey as well, which I've really, really appreciated. I've caught myself like trying to like getting emotional like throughout this, but I'm like, no, hold it in. But yeah, honestly, like, I'm so grateful that I had someone that I was able to like connect with, as well as I connected with you, and to be able to just be absolutely fully vulnerable. And I don't think a session went by where I was like bawling my eye as well, because that was something that was really hard for me to do. And you really, really helped me with that as well. And especially with all the different therapies that we did as well. I definitely say, like, definitely look into it. Definitely 100%. Look into getting yourself into something like that, and just surround yourself with positive people as well, which I think is super, super important. because we always feel like we're alone in it, and I felt like that for a long time before I started doing my therapy, that I was by myself and I just like need to get over it and I need to just like figure it out or do something. But I was stuck in a place where I didn't know how to figure it out, didn't know what to do, I didn't even know how to think. And that's what helped me, especially with my therapist. It helped me think about things. It helped me like break things down, because you just never know where to start when everything is up in the air as well. And when you can find someone who helps you do that, I'd say take it with both hands and like don't let go. Because even now I'm like, I feel like I need to go and visit Sally. I feel like I need a day, because you have them days where you're just like, I just feel in a rut today. Like I think I just need to go and see Sally and have that conversation. But also you've taught me to be able to do that for myself as well, which has been great. And yeah, 100%. I literally recommend therapy to anyone I speak to all the time. And it's definitely something people have to do.
Thank you.
100%. Honestly.
And I just want to say as well, like, obviously thank you for saying all those lovely things. It's so kind. But also just want to acknowledge like your part in this. Like any type of therapy or coaching is a core relationship, and you come and bring that vulnerability, and yes, I hold that space and maybe give some direction and techniques, but it takes the work. So yeah, just to give yourself the credit for doing that for yourself. Bless you. So finally, this is a question that I asked every guest on the podcast. What does healing mean to you now?
So for me, healing is about being able to be in control of my own emotions without handing that to someone else to be able to affect, in that sense. So like being able to sit with my emotions, understand why I'm feeling the way I feel, but reacting in more of a positive way rather than letting everything boil up and get to the point where I don't speak about anything until it gets to the point where I'm at like crisis. That's healing for me. So now if things bother me, I talk about them. If I misunderstand anything, or I feel any type of way in terms of like any relationship I have, or even like my own goals and stuff, I make sure like I do the research or have the conversations, and just so I don't get myself to the point where it just festers as well. And for me, healing is about just being okay with what you went through, but knowing that it doesn't shape who you can be or who you are as well. That shouldn't have to define who you've become, because you can be kind of whoever you want to be. After having to deal with trauma as well, and like being able to heal from it, for me, it's being okay about it. Like, just even though I went through my separation and stuff, like I always have love for that person. That's not anything that will ever change, because there were really great things in that relationship. But I can now, it doesn't affect me to the point where I'm like constantly thinking about it, or thinking why me, or thinking what could I have done better, when I knew I did everything I could to make things great. And then at the end of the day, it just doesn't fall down on you or what you did, especially when you've done everything that you could possibly think of. And it's about saying to yourself, I deserve to be happy and I deserve to be okay. And you deserve to kind of be seen and heard as well, without having to feel any kind of guilt, or without feeling like, am I too much? Like I always felt kind of like, am I always too bubbly? Am I always too happy? Maybe that irritates people, annoys people. And it's like, well, no, like the people who get irritated by how happy and bubbly and fun you are, don't let that then dampen who you are because they don't agree with it, kind of thing. And that's kind of what healing has been for me, is just owning who I am and being like, no, this is me, this is what I'm like. And this is, if everything that you're doing is positive and you don't affect anyone's life or anyone's feelings in that way, then you essentially end up feeling stronger and being able to deal with things as well. Anything that comes up now, you're able to deal with it with that new head that you've got on you, to the point where you're like, do you know what? I've been through worse. This is minor in comparison to what I've been through, and I can deal with it. Yeah, it might take me a month, it might take me 6 months, it might take me a year, but I am going to get through it, and I am going to do it. That's exactly how I feel now.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here and being so vulnerable.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been great, honestly. Thanks for inviting me.
Sharing some really quite, vulnerable experiences. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so
Bless your
much.
heart. I'm so proud of you. It's
Thank
been amazing
you.
having you on.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.